What's going on, all my horror fans? Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in to Beyond the Scare. I'm happy your host, Danny Royce. I'm joined here by my brother. What's good, Pauly?
What's going on, everybody?
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us as we dive
Yes.
in all things horror. Joining your favorite scare experts, we gonna break it down. We always real. We're always keeping it 100. And before we get into it, please hit subscribe and check out our past episodes. We got a lot of great stuff coming up, a lot of great movies to talk about. I'm excited for this episode because we're going to dive into this slasher realm. So, in this episode, very hard task, very hard task. But we decided to come up with our top three slasher films that we know and love. Three for Paulie, three for me, and we're going to dive into them, and then we're going to discuss an upcoming film that we're pretty excited to see as well. So thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and on YouTube, and listen to us on Spotify. Without further ado, let's get into it, Paulie.
Let's
First
do
and
it.
foremost, let's talk about like what a slasher is. Tell our viewers of what that genre entails.
Yes. Basically, slasher films are a subgenre of the genre horror. So, a lot of people that love horror, they have their subgenres that they may love even more. Some people may like
Mhm.
slasher films, paranormal, like Danny over there. So it really just depends. But for me, which it could differ for a lot of fans of horror in general or slashers, or I should say. But for me, a good slasher has suspense, has good kills, um, as you guys know, a great chase scene. A
Mhm.
minimum one. I like it more, but like one good one is fine. And then of course you have that final girl trope, right? Or that protagonist that is being stalked and everything. Um, Danny, what do you have to add about elements that make a good slasher?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit most of them on the head. I would say also, what makes a good slasher is just an iconic antagonist,
Mhm.
that just kind of has a good story, but like, um, and it has a good story, but also has a good intention of why they're doing what they're
Mhm.
doing. They're not just going around just killing. It's like an actual something that drives them, a force that drives
Right,
them, whatever that might be.
right.
Um, and I love that you had a chase scene because you got to have some chase
You
scenes
gotta
up in
have
there.
the chase scenes. Come
It's
on.
it's a must. It's a
That is
must.
hands down a
And
must.
let's be honest, Psycho was, I guess, one of the first slashers of its kind that kind of break through this whole genre. And slasher usually has some type of weapon involved.
Mhm.
Whether it be a knife, that's where they got it from, or a machete, whatever that is. I think that's a good indicator of like a slasher film as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, and definitely it goes without saying, right? A little bit of blood, a little bit of gore,
Oh
right?
yes, yes. Give me more. Give me more.
So before we dive in, I do want to point out, and this is from the um, industrial scripts. They basically have been around since 2010. They do a lot of like reviews and blogs, and they have basically what they say are the definite elements that you need have to have a great slasher, right? So, I
Okay.
mean, I'm just gonna like read the summary here because I'm not gonna go through all of them, but basically, a good slasher film balances suspenseful buildup. There it is right there because we need our
Yeah,
buildup, right?
got to have a build up. It's got to pay off.
Right. So I'll start over. So a good slasher film balances suspenseful buildup with satisfying, gruesome kills,
Hmm.
features a compelling, often masked or disfigured killer, and
Hmm.
often includes a final girl or protagonist who survives the ordeal.
Mm.
The best slashers also can incorporate elements of dark humor, a strong sense of atmosphere, and a memorable villain with a compelling backstory.
Come on now.
There you
We got
go.
all those.
They got everything we just talked about, right?
So who are
we
your
did,
scare experts?
yeah.
No.
we did. To be fair, we did miss the dark humor part, but I mean that goes without saying, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to have some comic relief in it to to
Yeah,
make the story. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That's what a good slasher is. That's what makes up a good slasher. And we decided to break down all the slashers.
We're
Pick,
we're
pick.
definitely going to grace our viewers with our top three slasher
Right, right.
films.
Our top three. I mean, for personally, I can say that these are the reason I picked these three in general. Um, because not saying that they're necessarily my favorite out of everything, but when you hear a slasher, it's like, oh, that's what came to mind. Um, as far as like my nostalgia, when I saw it, what I was doing when I saw it, if I can sit there and watch it over and over, or like I'll watch it every week or something, and I'll never get sick of it. That's kind of like a criteria that I went off of, because be honest, like there's so many out there and I
Mhm.
love so many of them. It was really hard to come down just to three. So that's kind of what the criteria that I use to pick my three. How about you?
Yeah, so I'll co-sign on that. For me, it wasn't that difficult to basically come down to three. I think I started off like just like thinking of everything, and I had five that immediately stood out to me, and I was just like, yes. And it's the same thing that you mentioned, right? I can watch it on a weekly basis if I wanted to. Memorable in every way, shape, or form. The kills, the suspense, the cast. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
that's important. They bring like the humor and everything. And you gotta like if you're annoyed by the cast, I mean that's kind of ruin the movie too, right?
Right.
Unless one particular cast member dies immediately, then you're like, oh, okay, cool. Um,
Right.
but yeah, so pretty much the same criteria.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I must say, like, when I was kind of shuffling through some, I was like, okay. And then you start thinking of, some of your favorite horrors, and you're like, okay, that's not a slasher. I'm gonna X
Yeah.
that out. It was like, okay, that one, no, I wouldn't say that one is. So, it was fun coming up with the three. But without further ado,
Right.
let's do it. Should I go first, or you want? And now, if we have any that overlap, we're just gonna give that one some extra love because it seems as if that's a really good slash.
Right. Yeah. So let's point that out to our fans right now, and viewers. We don't know what's on each other's list. Like, so
Mhm.
this is blind. We're going into it. So if Danny has like, if this one he's about to talk about, I have the same one. I'm just gonna like chime in, be like, oh yeah,
Right,
and we'll
exactly,
just talk
exactly.
about it that way.
Okay, so let me get started. I'm going to go with my first one. This is in no particular order. It's just three. It was hard enough coming to the three. I wasn't going to put them in order. So, first one I'm going to do is one of the films that really sparked my interest uh, in directing and being a filmmaker, especially in the realm of horror. And it really kind of just changed a lot for me. And then we watched this many, many times together. I gotta say, my number one pick was Scream. I know it's on your list too, so let's talk
Of
about it.
course, I know the viewers have to know that it's on my list. There you go. Good
Right.
job.
Let's just talk about it.
Let's
So,
do it.
Scream, is American slasher film franchise first in '96, directed by the Wes Craven.
Yes.
And
Written by
just
Kevin Williamson.
yeah, written by Kevin Williamson, who is writing the one that's coming out next year. We're excited for that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, so, it was just such an incredible film. I there's so much I can talk about, and obviously we're not going to spend the entire episode on this, but we could.
We
Uh,
could.
for those of you who have not seen Scream before, I don't even know what to tell you. But yeah, Wes Craven reinvented and revitalized the slasher horror genre with this
Mm,
one. It's a modern horror classic, and it just manages and juggles beautifully funny, cleverness, scariness, a little frightness with the ghost face and the mask. Obviously, a maniac stalks a high school students in the middle of class suburbia, and it was just so good. It was tension. It was the body counts were high. The kills were great, and it was just such an amazing and like
re-
reintroduction, I should say, into the
mm,
horror classic.
mm.
Studied cast: Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, Skeet, Drew Barrymore, Matt
Ru-
Lillard. The list goes
Rose.
on. Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just such a great film, and I was only I was about to turn 6 when I first saw this. And it was one of those things that just really like, wow, and it was so relatable, even though I wasn't even in high school, like, but you have people like they have friends like that. It was so relatable. And one of the things that we're also going to do when we talk about our films, we're going to pick out one of the kills that stood out the most for us. But before I do that, since we have this both the same one on our list, I'm gonna have you chime in and talk a little bit about it as well, and then we'll share what our favorite kill that stood out in the movie was.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just co-sign everything you said. It's one of those slashers, and that literally you have to give props to and credit to because it's
Hmm.
such a good movie. Wes Craven, Ken Williamson did such a good job with
Yep.
that. The stalking aspect of it, you know how I love a good like stalking aspect, and honestly, like the as you progress in each scream and whatever, I think it becomes more and more. And I mean, this isn't a bad thing, but I think it becomes more and more just about like the kills and and just like
Yeah.
gruesomeness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Scream started off not like that. Like, yes, like it had that in there, but it was more about like the stalking of, these students and everything and like
Hmm.
the who done it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then like Ghostface lurking in the shadows and everything. You
Yeah.
see him in the tree, but of course the cast doesn't see him and stuff like that. So just
Right.
like that is just like um amazing. And obviously it's on my list because Scream, I mean, and the original one is like hands down like my favorite. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's it's amazing. Like again, like you said, and the the aspect of not just the stalking, but the aspect of manipulation and mind games. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
right.
it took it to such a great, to another level, and no other film did that in that time. So it started a movement in the horror genre, and also it's like one of the most parodied horror films
Yeah,
ever.
yeah,
Everybody
definitely.
like copies off of it, mocks it, like makes fun of it, whether it's comedy or just horror.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and it's like one of the first films that actually at least that stood out that could still be scary and funny at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
sometimes scary movies like overdo it with trying to be funny and it just takes away from that whole like eerie, suspenseful atmosphere.
yeah,
But I think Scream did just such a good job, like you said, of balancing, the two. Um,
exactly.
yeah, great,
Yeah,
great.
there's so many
It's great.
memorable quotes, so many memorable quotes, so many memorable scenes.
Yes.
Um, Yeah, and so before we get into our scene, so it came out, like I mentioned, 96 in December. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 78%. I don't know what they talking about. And IMDb 7.4 out of 10. So I want to get into it. I'm gonna tell you mine. The kill that stuck out to me, and it's probably the same as yours. Maybe.
Before you do that though, I just want to talk about when I say because we didn't like talk about this enough. When I say a good scary movie slasher has a good chase scene, like
Uh-huh.
this movie, great chase
Yes.
scenes. Like
Yes.
Sidney Neff Campbell had multiple chase scenes with Ghostface, and each one was just so suspenseful, so awesome.
Yeah.
Even Rose McGowan, played Tatum,
Uh-huh.
like even though it was in like such a like isolated area, the garage, like that was a chase scene, and it was like
It
great.
definitely
You know
was.
what I mean? So that's what I
Yeah.
mean by like, great chasing, something that just like has you on the edge of your seat and you're just like, oh crap, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Yeah. Are they gonna get away? Are they gonna get away? They
Yeah,
done, yeah. No,
yeah,
it was great. It's great. And then it showed the humanity side of Ghostface because he was messing up and so he'd be tripping or he'll like run into something or they'll like hit him, you know what I mean? Like so it's like, oh okay, you're reminded that like this is just a man or a person, but
yeah.
at the same time it's like it's even deeper than that because it's like, Ghostface is this own persona.
Hmm.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And so it's just like, wow, yeah, it's truly a great film. If you have not seen it, maybe I don't know if you're a Gen Z or something, that's only how I could think you didn't see it. Because like I can't
Wait,
even imagine.
right. Let's talk. I want to talk about that briefly because actually I like had a debate with someone about like Scream, and like other slashers and everything like that. And like they were trying to say like Scream isn't like one of the greatest slashers, man. And I'm just like, what?
Wow.
Like I was like, they're like it's not even like it's not a good they're like they're not it's not I forgot it was like horror like great kills and stuff. And I was like, well, kills alone don't make a great horror film.
You're right.
But at the same time, there were great kills in it. Um, I don't know. That
Wow.
person
I don't know what they think. I mean, what they think every movie's got to be Terrifier or what?
that exactly. And I
Like
think
what?
that, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I was telling him
Like,
like Terrifier, don't get me wrong, is a great, it's I don't want to say great. It's a good
right.
movie,
It's
right?
good. Yeah,
It's
it's good.
gory, blah blah blah. It's kind of gives me Saw a little bit, just the
Yeah.
gore and stuff like that. But in my opinion, Saw has a better plot than Terrifier. So
Yes,
if you're
most
talking
definitely.
about, but that's a different story.
Wow, that's crazy. Whoever said that is out of their minds.
I know.
Um, all right, so the kill that stood out to me the most and Scream, obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but was Casey. It was Casey Baggins, played by Drew Barrymore. Just everything from the phone call, obviously, the
The
iconic
iconic phone call, the
phone call.
chase.
What's your favorite scary movie? The chase scene. They're almost getting the pen. Like, come on, throw that phone. I always wanted her to throw that phone or something. Like, throw something to get their attention.
Yeah.
It was just I can just remember my first time watching it. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so close. Oh my, you see the parents' car coming down the driveway. There's just all those little things. Even when she was out of the house and Ghostface was in the house, she stood up and he jumped through the window. Um, and then obviously she met her demise. Hearing it on the phone was crazy. Watching the mom's reaction when the door opened and seeing her just hang there. Like
Got it.
it was gutted. Yeah, it was crazy. Like smoke, you can see the smoke, the steam off the guts. Like
The organs.
it was crazy. It
Hmm.
was crazy, especially in that time. There was nothing like that.
Right.
And it stood out the first kill. You know what I mean? There were so many other ones, great ones in that movie. But for me, that first kill was like set the tone
Hmm.
for years,
Hmm.
decades. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? How about
That's
you?
funny. Yeah. I mean, I had the exact same kill. Like it's hilarious but it's such an iconic kill and
Yeah,
opening sequence to a movie. In my opinion, the the opening sequence, opening kill for Scream, none of them beat that. Like
no.
None of them.
None of
I
them.
mean, the second one with Jada, like I mean
Yeah,
that was pretty good because
it was
I mean,
good.
obviously people don't know what's going on in the movie theater and everything, but like all of them, if you think about it, like it's just like none of them did what Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson originally did. You know what I mean? Like you were
Yeah.
saying, like from the moment of the phone call, like the whole like playing around, the banter, thinking
Hmm.
everything's cool, and then all of a sudden it turns sideways. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then
Yeah.
like the chase, and then the game with seeing that boyfriend is dead, Steven.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, I mean, I feel like just everything and how it was like wrapped up just makes it like obviously one of the most memorable kills. And she was just so close to her parents, and that's
So
what made
close.
it
That's what made it so
that's what made it the
crazy.
worst. Yeah,
Yeah. That's what made it so bad. And it's like, oh my God, you're right there. You're right there. You're right there. And then that's it. But
yeah,
yeah, and that was for me just like a turning point where I was like, oh my God, like this is this is iconic. And I didn't really, at the moment you don't realize how iconic this is going to be when you first watch it.
right,
But yeah, it stood the test in time. Like that whole opening scene was the best opening scene in Scream
hands
franchise.
down,
Yeah.
hands down. Like, there's no other one that tops it. Like, I mean, I mean, I love Scream. Obviously, it's one of my favorite franchises. But I mean, the last one in Scream Six, the opening sequence. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cute for what it was, but
Yeah, I mean, it did the job, right? And then the
right.
fifth one with what's her Jenna
Jenna,
or
yeah.
Ortega. Yeah, I mean,
Jenna
they
Ortega.
tried to replicate, the whole Casey situation, the Drew Barrymore situation they could, but still, it was still missing a lot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That
Yeah.
fear, that like chase, that like just like the gore. Obviously, she survived, but I don't know, it just wasn't the same.
It wasn't. So there's our first pick, guys. Our first pick is the word that was the same. So so I want to pass it over to you, Polly. What is second on your list?
Okay. So second on my list, and I don't even know if Danny knows this one. He probably doesn't know that I picked this one, but I picked this one because it's a remake. All right. It's such a fun, suspenseful and funny. Like it's hilarious. It has parts that's just hilarious. Movie. And I like the whole. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was part of Greek life in college, but like I like the whole like Greek life aspect of it and everything. But my second pick is going to be the 2009 version of Sorority Row.
No,
So
this one got me for a loop.
yeah. So whoever hasn't seen the remake, I believe the original one was in the 80s at some I can't remember the year, but it was in the 80s. The remake, oh, 83, 1983.
Mm.
Um, I have not seen this remake of this 1983 slasher film Sorority Row. Check it out immediately. Check it out. So
Immediately.
immediately, as soon as you're done listening to us, obviously. Um, so both films center on a group of sorority sisters who basically pull a prank, and then it ends up in one of their sisters' accidental deaths, and they try to cover it up, basically. And a year later, they're targeted by the killer. It kind of gives you a little. I know what you did last summer, um, a little bit, but obviously different in a lot of ways. So it's directed by Stuart Hindler. The cast, they had a studded cast too, like Brianna Evigan, Jamie Chung, Leah Pipes, Audrina Patridge, Rumor Willis, and of course the iconic Miss Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, she played the house mother, so it's pretty funny. She had some funny parts. She was a
Rest in
badass,
peace.
carrying around her shotgun and stuff. um, so uh, I guess I would talk about also my favorite kill because I already explained why I like the franchise. I mean, it's a great slasher. like I said, a suspenseful. There are some gnarly kills in this movie. Like it's crazy, and it's just like I don't know why, but it's just the more brutal a kill is when it's done on a woman, it just like hits different. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
You
Yeah.
know, a brutal kill
It
on a
does.
guy, you're just like, oh, you know, that hurts. But then when it's done on a woman, you're just like, ugh,
It's
you
like, oh
know,
my
yeah.
God.
And there were some brutal kills on these girls, man. So the one that stood out the most to me and that I have to point out as my favorite and probably one of the probably the brutalest, in my opinion, would be when the killer killed Chugs. So Chugs, she's kind of like the drinker, the partier, but kind of like the slutty one of the group.
Mm,
And she went to see her therapist, who she was also hooking up with for some type of like medication or something. And she was laying on the couch, drinking a bottle. I don't know what the bottle. I don't know if it was wine or like I think it might have been wine or vodka or something. Anyway, but she's drinking. The killer comes up behind her, jams the bottle so it like goes down her throat and you see it
mm.
protruding out of her throat, and then he bashes her throat, and then like the
Ooh,
bottle breaks in her throat, and it's just like it's crazy. It's like you almost don't want to look, but you kind of like are looking like you know what I mean.
that's rough.
So yeah, that probably stands out to me. And there, like I said, there are a lot of gnarly kills in this movie, but that one probably stands out the most because like it was done so quickly, like she didn't even stand a
Hmm.
chance at all. And it's just like ugh, you know, just thinking about it, I'm like, ugh. What
That's
do you think
rough.
about that movie, Danny?
That's rough. It's been a long time since I've seen that one, so I'm just I'm just like I'm listening to you like okay, and now I remember bits and pieces, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
Okay, you got to check it out again too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to revisit that one because
Yeah.
I can't really speak too much on it because I was like, oh man, because I do remember I think I've seen it at least twice.
Mhm.
Once was with you for sure, and then another one was by myself. But yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so I remember it came out in the theaters. I saw it in the theaters, and then as soon as it came out on DVD, I bought it. Um, like it's just so fun. Like at the beginning, even like the introduction, like you know, it's like obviously a party. They're partying in their sorority house, and then like the girls go upstairs because they're all seniors. They're like, let's make a pact, blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
it do something stupid, and then there it is.
And
Um,
then there it is. Yeah, it's kind of like it's one of those like slashers, kind of like like prom night and stuff. Kind of that it's relatable,
mhm.
it's fun, and it's like it's the who did it kind of type of thing
Yeah,
or
like
who's
yeah,
done it.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I feel like it was done as a remake, it was done so well. I don't
Hmm.
know if you saw the 1983 version, but 83 version
I
was good
have.
too. But I just feel like the 83 version is actually called The House on Sorority Row. This
Okay.
one they just cut out the house and put Sorority Row. But obviously it's more brutal. The comedy is just it's funny. But yeah, definitely everybody check it out if you haven't already. Great slasher film.
Sorority run. Yes, let's go. Okay, okay. So I guess it's my turn for the second pick. Uh, this one, I don't know. This one might surprise you.
I'm intrigued.
So I chose this one um because it's very nostalgic for me. It was just a really good film. It was star-studded cast. It was iconic because this was like this was like the match off between these two characters.
I think I
And
know. I think I know.
you think you know?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it just oh my God, I just remember when it came out and it was just so great. And it's in one of the best franchises, slasher franchises ever, named after the the great holiday in October, Halloween H2O.
Yes.
Is that what you got
Yes. Honestly,
it?
that's not what I was thinking about. But
Oh, was it?
Halloween H2O, phenomenal pick. I'm so excited you did it. Um, no, I was thinking of Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. That was yes, that was a great one as well. But no, I chose Halloween H2O. 20 years later, let's get into it. Obviously the Scream Queen came back. She returned, so it was already like, oh my God, 20 years later after the original Halloween came out. We had Josh
1978.
Hartnett. We had Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Steve Miner, even Janet, mom's Jamie Lee Curtis's mom had a
Mom.
cameo in there,
Yep.
which was like, oh my God. Michelle Williams, LL
Yes.
Cool, LL
Yes.
Cool J. I mean, it was just such a great film. So two decades later, former babysitter Laurie Strode finds herself hunted by a persistent knife wielder, Michael Myers. She's now living in Northern California, and she has, under a different, under an assumed name, where she works as a headmistress of a private school, which her son attends. And it was just like it was relatable. Um, it came out in '98 and directed by Steve Miner, and it was just so great. My I loved the acting. I love the cinematography. I loved the moment where, the first time where Laurie Strode sees the Jason or sees Michael in that mirror or in that door where the window is, and they just meet the eye contact. It's just like,
Mhm.
wow, it's
And
such
he's
a cool
like,
moment. But yeah, such a cool moment. And like, when she's like done running and we see that Lori come out that's ready to just whoop some ass, and she has that act. She's like, my God. And
that was the part right
it's just
there.
like she locks the gate. She's like, let's finish this. Like it was just such a good film. And it was so fun. And it was like, okay, they're about to go head to head. This is what we wanted in the last Halloween Ends. We wanted not trying to, not trying to shit on that movie, but in Halloween Ends, we wanted what H2O kind of gave us that like these two iconic figures about to go head to head and about to end it. Like, let's get, you know what I mean? So and they had it was good chase scenes in there, the stalking element that, that Michael does phenomenally all the time. And I would say the kill that stuck out for me the most in that film, was Sarah's death. So
Yeah.
if you remember Sarah, she was in
Yep.
the kitchen and she was going up the, what do they call that? Like the elevator,
It's like an elevator, it's like an
yeah,
elevator shaft thing that you
shaft
to,
thing,
yeah.
yeah. Anytime that's in a horror film, somebody's about to get you know what I mean? It's like the same thing. I
I
know
know
what
what
you
you did
guys
last
are
summer with
arguing.
Helen.
Yeah.
Or
It's just like you just know something's about to happen. So that was one of my favorites. She found Charlie dead in there already. Here comes Michael. She's getting going up, and he cuts the string. It hits her foot, breaks her leg.
ugh,
She's crawling. He comes up the stairs and just gives it to her. But, which is also reminiscent of Scream. So this came out 2 years after how they found Sarah's body. She was hanging, right? And remember the light was stuck in there and she was hanging from the
yep.
light,
With
kind
turn the
of
light on.
in a similar fashion as Casey. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it was, and then her guts and all that stuff was hanging out. So it was just a brutal scene. I think that one for me was the kill that stood out the most in that film.
Mm.
But if you have not seen Halloween H2O, it's an amazing film. I remember just how we were, how we felt when it first came out in '98, just as kids, it was like, this is crazy because it's like, obviously Halloween came out before we were born, but this was like, yeah, I always feel a little tingly, a little warm feeling inside when, when not necessarily a reboot, but like when they revisit,
Yeah.
what I mean? And same thing with A New Nightmare and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like when they revisit the original
Yeah.
story and bring it into today's setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. What do
Yeah.
you
I
think?
mean, yeah, to kind of piggyback on that, it was essentially the first Halloween that basically brought us to the franchise more, wholeheartedly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, the original came out in 78. We weren't born and everything like that. We knew about it, we've seen it and stuff like that. But
Right.
then H2O, Halloween 20 years later, that has like, cast that we know.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's like it's reintroducing the franchise to us. And
Right.
it's kind of like, I don't it's weird to say this, but it's kind of like ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
people that were around are so excited to see the original in 78, they feel that's theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 That's
um,
true.
but yeah, to kind of go along with that, great pick. Um, I mean, and anybody can argue with me, debate me, fight me on this one. I feel like Halloween H2O is the best movie in the entire franchise. It was so good. It did
Yes.
everything perfectly, like just
Yes.
like chef's kiss. Like I can't. There's not one thing I can complain. I've seen that movie. I don't know,
So many
probably,
times.
yeah, like 30, 40 times.
Yeah.
um and it had everything that like I love about a slasher, everything that should be loved about slashers. And like you said, it came out literally in the same time frame as like Scream and like I Know You Last Summer and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like we were already hyped up on that like new genre slasher juice, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. It was so good. It was so good. So definitely check that out. It's one of those films that will go down in infamy.
Yeah.
And they had to follow it up with something, with the resurrection after like a couple years after that.
I mean,
But
let's talk about it for a second. Like they literally could have ended it with H2O. You know what I
they
mean?
really could
They
have.
wanted to
They
be like,
really could have.
oh, for anyone that hasn't seen it, I'm sorry, I'm about to ruin it a little bit. But at the ending, the decapitation, everything, they could have just let that be done.
They
Like,
could have, yeah, that could have been Michael and it could have been over
yeah.
with.
But they want to like, oh, let's carry this on, which they shouldn't have because Resurrection, I think, is like one of the worst movies in the franchise. I think it got like the worst ratings in one.
Yeah, it was not good. Like there were moments, obviously funny moments. The bus around was
Yeah,
hilarious,
he was funny.
with the entire Banks. But it's just like some of it just didn't. They tried to make it very like too relevant. I feel like,
Mm,
because obviously that was in,
reality TV and
yeah, that
stuff.
was in 2002. So we've had the whole technological shift.
Mhm.
So everything was like phones, the phones were starting to blow up, the reality shows starting to blow up.
Mhm.
And so like, yeah, I didn't think they needed it, honestly. And
No.
yeah, you're right. I think the second one got like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, or the Resurrection
Yeah.
got like 10% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
Yeah, and I feel like it fell short in a lot of places too. Like even like with the cast, and they had some good, I think was that who was in that?
Ryan
Um,
Merriman was
was
in
Paige?
it.
No, not I forgot that one guy's name. But yeah, they had some. Obviously you mentioned like Busta and Tyra Banks, but I forgot that one
Hmm.
black guy's name. He's been in a lot of stuff from Save the Last
Oh yeah,
Dance. He was in that.
yeah, Sean Patrick Thomas.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, Sean Patrick Thomas.
Barbershop.
Yeah, the guy from American Pie. I forgot his
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
So
they
they
had a
had
pretty
some.
good cast. They had a pretty good
Yeah.
cast. They just failed
Yeah.
in quite a few things. That's all. And then Rob Zombie decided to reinvent the whole real wheel.
Right.
So but it was great. It was in the vein like you said, like that was ours. Like I guess kind of the same way they kind of reintroduce I Know What You Did Last Summer to today's audience
Hmm.
by you know, bringing it back and stuff like that. So that's what they kind of did, to H2O for
Hmm.
us. It was really dope,
Yeah.
really dope.
I remember when they were promoting it and I was watching the marketing and stuff. I was like, why are they relating it to water? Like
Yeah, that's the same exact thing. And I was like, H2O, what you talking about? And now I was like 20 years. Oh yeah. I was the same way. I was like, water. What?
Oh my God. I know we weren't the only ones either, so
No, we weren't the only ones. Y'all know y'all thought it was our Halloween water. What kind of that look like?
oh my Michael Myers underwater killing people. All right, so that brings us to our last two
The
picks
last
for
two.
our top three slasher movies.
All right,
All
it's
right,
your turn.
I'll go. All right. A lot of the viewers may be able to, be able to guess this, but they may not get the which one correctly. But we'll see. All right. So my last pick is none other than Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ah.
However, it is part three Dream Warriors.
Okay.
All
All right.
right.
This we got two on our list the same.
Oh, you picked the same one? Yeah. That's hilarious. I love it. I did not
That
think
is
I did not think
too
you picked
funny.
this one. That's
That is too
awesome.
funny.
All right, cool. Well, I'll start off.
I'll tell you why in a second. Go
Okay, cool.
ahead.
All right, as we know, Nightmare on Elm Street, Mr. Fred Krueger. So the third one, Dream Warriors, released in 1987. So during a incident, Kristen Parker, who's played by none other than Patricia Arquette, she
Yeah.
basically has her wrist slashed by Freddy Krueger, which makes her mom check her into basically a mental institution or facility. Um, and one of the doctors, or I guess you would say she's more of like a therapist, but our very own final girl, Nancy Thompson, who obviously had
Mhm.
battled Freddie some years before. She comes back, befriends Kirsten and the other individuals in the hospital, and she basically sees this as a potential to get rid of Freddy Krueger once and for all. All right. So this movie was directed by Chuck Russell. As we know, the original, phenomenal as well, was directed by Wes Craven. Um,
Yes.
and this, I picked this one um, because it's such a good movie. It's so fun. Obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror franchise, but this is my favorite slasher in the franchise, or I should say, favorite film in the franchise, because it basically, I feel like it just one ups the original. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Obviously, it brings back Final Girl, which was like so exciting when it happened. Similar to what you're talking about Jamie Lee and Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
But it has a great cast too. Obviously, Heather Langenkamp, Robert Englund, Patricia Arquette, Lawrence Fishburne was in it, um, and he had some funny parts too.
Yeah, you did.
um, and it was basically so what I love about Nightmare on Elm Street franchise in general, which I feel like it was very prevalent in this movie, more so, was um, the whole like suspense of like them obviously showing the dream world, what's happening in the dream world, but also the onlookers not seeing what's actually happening. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I
Right.
felt like they did that so well in this one. Obviously, it was in the first one, with some of the kills, but I feel like it just happened so much in this one. It was just like, all right, which takes me
Mhm.
to my favorite kill. So, my favorite kill, I don't know if it's going to be the same one as yours, but
Wait, hold on. Before you do that, let me just chime in
okay,
because we had the same ones on each
okay,
on our list, and then
let's
I'll
do
throw
it.
it back to you. So yeah, it's on my list as well, top three. So it was coming down, it was head to head between the other two. I'm gonna reveal the other two that I had it head to head.
Oh,
It
you're
was
okay. If
getting
you're gonna do
close.
that, then I got to do that.
It was just like okay, but wrong turn was one.
Oh,
Yes,
I
wrong
could,
turn.
I could, I would not have guessed that for you, honestly.
I know,
The first
I
one,
know. The first one,
the
life's
first
good
one.
girl.
Okay.
It was between that one and Friday the 13th, Part 7. Now,
Yep, yep.
yes.
Okay.
Now, as y'all know, that Friday the 13th is my favorite horror franchise.
I
But,
could, I,
however,
dude, I promise you, I thought that one of those would be on the list for you.
yes, however, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, it hits a spot that just the other two did not hit. The nostalgia is definitely one. Um, E7 had power, she had telekinesis, but this had like a team. it was almost like your kind of first superhero team
Yeah.
in a
So
horror film. And that's really what captivated me too. And these people were able to control their dreams to an extent,
mhm.
and they gave Freddie a run for his money. So let's be honest, like who can really give Freddie a run for his money? You know what I mean? There's
In the
not a
right
lot
in
of
the dream
people.
world, yeah, you
It's
can't.
the dream world, there's not a lot of people unless you learn to master the dream world. The nostalgia for this, it was just it hits a spot for me. It's also horror's like first superhero team,
Mhm.
and that's kind of what set it over for, Wrong Turn and Friday 13th, part seven. She had telekinesis in part seven as well, but here it's like it was just incredible the way that they mastered their dreams to an extent. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? They gave Freddie a run for his money, and who really can give Freddie a run for his money in his own world,
Right. Hmm.
unless you learn to master your dreams. So, and it was just like, a return. I love a good return of a final girl, uh, Nancy came back, and it was just a really fun film, and wasn't really scary at all, but the whole aspect of the suspense and
Hmm.
the kills and Freddie just being hilarious, and it was so refreshing coming back from the second one. That's what I also had to think about as well, because I'm like, this was a great comeback
Hmm.
after that second film, because I don't know what they were doing with that, but
Right.
with the third one, it's just one of those films that will always go down as my favorite horror, and one of my favorite horror films in general, not just the franchise, but in general,
Yeah.
because of what it means to me. You know how like you have food memories when you eat something. When you eat something, like it makes you feel a certain way. Brings you back to whatever.
Yeah.
That's how it is for when I see Dream Warriors. It makes me feel a certain way. It brings me back to this point, when I used to watch it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just locking in on it, and that's the reason why I chose and put it on my list as well, because it did such a great job. It's my favorite film in that franchise, for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah. And that's also what I mean by like it's so fun. It's because it's just something about like you said, the whole like, the superhero aspect, but it's like in they kind of touched on this in the original as well. When Nancy finally was like able to she wasn't able to fully control her dream, but she knew that, hey, this is my dream. So
Right,
what happens in it is what I want to happen in it. So
right,
they
right.
touched on that a little bit in the first one. And like we said, we don't want to talk about the second one. But in the third one, Dream Warriors, they expounded upon that. And it was just perfect
Exactly.
because it wasn't just like random superpowers or anything like that. Each particular person, they were struggling with something in their life.
Right.
And that's, basically what their superpower was. You know what I mean? The one
Hmm.
guy who was paralyzed, he was the Dream Master. What was he?
The
Dream,
Wizard.
the Wizard
Yeah,
Master.
yeah.
He loved like board games. He loved that board game, and that's what he was in his dream. Uh,
Right,
you know, Kincaid. He was a strong dude.
right.
You know what I mean? Kristen was
Yeah.
acrobatic, and
And it was
um,
all these kids that like people really just threw away. They didn't
yeah,
even
just
care about. They
misfits.
didn't care
Yeah,
about misfits.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I thought it was great.
yeah, definitely great. And I know you said there wasn't any like particular like order for yours, but I actually put mine in order, and this was number one.
Mm,
Scream was number two, but since you talked about it, I talked about it first, and three was a Sword World, obviously.
okay.
But yeah, let's talk about our favorite kills in the movie.
Yeah. So what was the one that stuck out the most for you?
Okay, the one that stuck out for the most for me, this particular kill coincides with what I was saying about, or I should say, aligns with what I was saying about, everyone else experiencing something different in the real world than what's actually happening in the dream world, and it just makes it that much more suspenseful and makes you like, on the be on the edge of your seat. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, my favorite kill was when Freddy killed Philip. Was that yours too?
Yep.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Oh, this is funny.
Classic, classic scene.
Yes. Yeah.
So Philip was one of the first patients that Freddie actually killed. And Philip, he made, I guess you would call them puppets. We know.
Yeah.
And when Philip falls asleep, he actually inhabits one of the dolls. He like jumps off of the wall, and then obviously he grows up. He gets bigger and turns into actual Freddy. And then he cuts Philip's legs and his arms, and then strings come out of Philip, essentially make showing that he's a puppet, right?
Right.
Again, all this is happening in Dream World, right? So then Kincaid looks up, he wakes up, and he's just like, "What's going on?" Because Philip also he sleepwalks.
Sleepwalks. Yeah.
He sleepwalks.
Yeah.
So Kincaid's just like, he's just sleepwalking, whatever, which makes it even crazier, right? And just
Right.
makes it
Right.
more insane. So Kincaid goes back to sleep, and then Philip's just like going through the halls, like Freddy's controlling him and stuff. And he looks like he's in pain, right? So like a person that sees him be like, "What's going on?" But like everyone just thinks he's sleepwalking. Joey does see him, but for everyone that knows about this movie, Joey's mute, so he can't really
Mhm.
talk. And he tries to warn the staff, and the staff doesn't know what he's talking about. So he ends up waking up everybody by banging the tray on the doors. Yeah,
Yeah.
waking up everybody. They go to this window. Philip's already on the top floor outside the window, standing there, and you can see like Freddy. He's huge in the background, controlling his body and his strings and
Yeah.
everything. And Philip's just like this, you know, and everyone's like screaming, "Don't do it!" Because again, they don't see Freddy. They don't know
Right.
what's going on. They think he's
Right.
sleepwalking and he's about to commit suicide. And then ultimately, Freddy cuts the strings with his knives, and Philip falls to his death. So that was my favorite kill. I was, it's Danny's as well. We're gonna let Danny talk about why, like, what stood out to him. But what stood out to me is just everything about it, like everything.
Hmm.
Like I remember when I first saw it, I was just like watching. I'm like, just like glued to the
Yeah.
TV, just like this is crazy. And
Yeah.
this movie does have a lot of good kills, and like that's what I like about the franchise. Also, Freddy's very creative in the way he
Hmm.
kills his victims and everything. But yeah, this was definitely my standout kill.
Yeah, I mean, I second pretty much everything you said. It was you catch yourself, in that window screaming like with them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, yeah, I remember it. It's so iconic. It's so, you know, it's just such a great scene.
Mm,
And the way he killed him was like, okay, like he killed him in a way that he creates his own toy. Like he likes creating puppets, so
exactly.
he became a puppet. So like you said, like Freddie was very creative. And it's just yeah, a lot of those kills, stood out. The
Mm,
TV, like there's just so many things, but that one for me, it was always one that I was just like, oh man. And it's the suspense, is he gonna wake up? Is he not?
yeah.
He can't hear them because it's just crazy. And they literally just watched their friend just die. You know
Fall
what I
to
mean?
his death.
So
Yeah.
that was a big thing, and the whole aspect of no one believing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
No one believing that. They always just it was suicide, that type of
Right.
thing.
He
So
was a troubled
yeah.
young man. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was like, oh gosh, it was
And
just so good.
yeah, and this was the first time that we saw Freddie basically um, using, I guess you would say, like their life situations in their dreams. You know what I mean
Yeah,
by that? Like, because in the first one, that really didn't happen. With Tina and stuff like that. Like, and then her boyfriend that was killed in jail. None of that didn't really happen. In this one, like we talked about, we have Philip who was actually he makes puppets, and he was turned into a puppet and he died.
yeah,
And he played that role. Freddie kind of played with that whole like sleepwalking thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then um, with what's her name? Was it Jennifer? Jennifer. She wanted to be an actress.
Yeah.
So like she was watching, TV being this guy interviewing an actress, and then Freddie comes
Uh-huh.
on, and then the iconic line that everyone should remember, "Welcome to primetime, B,"
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
he kills her with a TV, and then even Joey, like Joey being
Joey with the
attracted,
tongue.
yeah, the tongue, and then like obviously being attracted to women, but being so self-conscious because he can't talk, not
Yeah.
you know so this is the first time we see like all that playing a role in the dreams, and it just makes it that much more like cool, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. I definitely agree. It was definitely he played in their played like with their reality, but also definitely honed in on their nightmares more
right.
in the
Mhm.
third one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And then we see that continue throughout the rest of the franchise, which is pretty cool. I'm glad they stuck with it because it just makes it that much more like real. Like another one that stands out to me, which it was the Dream Child one. So number five.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember her name, but the girl that like she didn't really eat much and everything like that because she
Oh
was trying to
yeah.
stay skinny. And he
Yeah,
starts
that's
feeding
always
her. Yeah,
always
so
stands out to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm just like, literally after that, every kill like had to do with something that either the person was struggling with, or like or something that played a role in their life that they would like dream about, but he turned it to make it like, I mean, a nightmare,
Right.
which was pretty cool.
No. Yes, I definitely agree. Wow. Well, there you have it, y'all. We talked about our top three. Both Scream, both Nightmare on Elm Street 3, specifically Dream Warriors. And then I had Halloween H2O and Sorority Row, right? Yeah,
Yep.
Sorority Row. So,
Yep.
wow, that was great.
That's pretty
We
cool. That's
definitely
pretty
shocked
cool.
each other with some of those.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I thought we would at least definitely have one. I didn't know we'd have
Yeah,
two.
I was
And
thinking we definitely have Scream. And I
yeah,
was like, okay, maybe Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors, maybe.
yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see you having Nightmare on Elm Street. I saw you having like Friday 13th, definitely. But
Yeah,
you didn't have that.
it
And
was a close one.
I didn't see H2O from you at all. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, you probably not gonna think of that. Yeah, I didn't even suspect Sorority Row that would be one of you.
It's such a
But
good it's such a good
it
slasher.
just
What'd
what's
you
that?
say? We stupid. I said it's such a good slasher. Like it's so you gotta rewatch it. It's like
Yeah, I gotta
so
rewatch
good.
that. I gotta rewatch that. But y'all, I mean, there's so many great slashers out there. Like I told you, there were some that passed through my mind too. Wrong Turn and
Yeah.
the Stubborn, Friday
Oh,
13th Stubborn.
right. Yeah. So since you brought up your other two, I'm gonna say those two that are on my list. Um, Prom Night,
Yes,
that was on my list, and
I thought you were
then
gonna say that.
yeah, and then Urban Legend.
Oh, okay. You know what's funny? Valentine's Day actually crossed my mind
Oh,
too.
Valentine.
Yeah, Valentine, yeah.
Yeah, 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 that's a good one too.
But that came out around the same time, Urban Legend too.
Hmm.
I remember that. Yeah, that's
Yep,
hilarious.
that's so
All
funny.
right. Well, there y'all have it. If you want to share with us, some of your top slashers, or if you can relate to some of ours, go ahead. Make sure you let it be known. You can drop it in the comment box in the Spotify, or if you're watching us on YouTube, and leave a comment.
Yep.
And we'll definitely be reading it. All right. Well, this part of our episode, I want to talk about an upcoming film. That's it's on the horizon, and it seems to be looking like it's pretty juicy. I'm kind of excited to take a look. So let's talk about it. Polly, we got the upcoming horror film coming out soon. What is it?
Yes, we have the upcoming horror slash mystery film coming out called Weapons.
Weapons. Let's go.
So Weapons will be released Friday, August 8th. And the movie has to deal with basically the mysterious vanishing of
Mm.
a bunch of kids, right? Except for one. At the same time at night. And basically, it leaves the community questioning what happened, what's going on, and what's actually behind the disappearances.
Mm.
Um, So it's directed by Zach Kreger, who hasn't done a lot of horror actually.
No.
Um, he he did do a horror slash mystery film in 2022 called Barbarian.
Yeah, that was
Um,
good.
okay, you saw that? Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I like that
Okay,
one.
so yeah, it's same. It looks like same as this movie, horror mystery. But this movie has a good cast. Julia Garner, she's been in a lot. Apartment 7A, the new Fantastic Four that just came out,
Hmm.
Ozark, Josh Brolin, our boy from The
Yeah.
Goonies, Deadpool, The Avengers, Men in Black,
Yeah.
and then even Austin Abrams. I've seen him in Scary Stories We Tell to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, I'm excited about it. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited too. We got and it's Brian Tyree Henry
Oh
that's
yeah,
on
yeah,
there
yeah.
too,
Brian's in there. Yeah.
um, from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a really good cast. I'm excited. And guess what? Rotten Tomatoes already gave it 100%. So
What?
yeah, and they don't give that out
They
nice,
don't. I mean,
just they don't
sometimes
throw that
okay,
out.
but that sometimes they be BSing too.
They
You know
do be
what I mean?
BSing. So that's why we gotta check up on it. Because if they give them 100%, like I need to see this and make sure
Right,
I need to find out if it's really 100. You know what I
right.
mean?
I mean, I love a good horror mystery. I'm not gonna lie. This if the suspense is there and everything. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's kind of funny. So a lot of people thought this is actually based on a true story, but that was actually debunked by the director.
Mm,
And I want to read what he said. He stated that it is inspired by real life experiences and the emotional impact of real world tragedies, particularly missing children cases. While the film's plot is fictional and centers around the disappearance of children, at the emotional core and themes drawn from the genuine pain and grief and real world issues.
mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So I mean,
so a lot of people
obviously,
it
it's gonna
connected with a lot
pull.
of people.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely pull at the emotional strings for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I wonder, it makes me wonder, because you got to be careful with stuff like that, especially when it comes to horror and mystery, because it can become too real, and you're
Yeah.
kind of like it leaves you um, kind of like at like a depressive state, as opposed to something where you're like entertained or something like that,
Exactly.
because it's very uncomfortable to be entertained when something is going on like that. So
Right.
I hope it's a good balance. I'm interesting how it's going to play out. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, likewise. Well, let's check out the trailer real quick.
Let's do it.
Um, I I just want to say how very sorry I am for.
She should be locked up until she tells us what happened.
The truth is that I want an answer just as bad as all of you.
We're talking about 17 kids in one classroom. I want to know what happened in that classroom. Why just her classroom? Why only
There
hers?
are children.
I love those kids.
This is a true story that happened right here in my town. A lot of people die in a lot of really weird ways in this story, but you're not going to find it in the news.
Those kids walked out of those homes. No one pulled them out. No one forced them. What do you see that I don't?
Show me. Where did you go?
There's something very, very wrong going on.
Come on. What am I looking at?
Leave the investigating to the investigators.
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching?
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it looks good. It
I
looks
mean,
like it's very intense.
yeah, it looks like there's some like supernatural elements to it
Yeah, it's
also.
definitely supernatural.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Julia Gardner, she kind of got the same hair. I recognize immediately. She got the same hair kind of that she had on Wolfman.
Yeah, yeah,
Same
yeah.
type of vibe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm getting some sinister vibes,
Mhm.
especially with the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's with them all running like
In the street.
running like Naruto like
I,
that?
saw- I noticed that too. I was
Like,
like, and
I
then
don't know what that is about.
right, and then that kid, I don't know if that was an illusion or what, but like looks like got hit by a car or something. It was like I was
Right.
like, ugh.
And then the guy stabbing himself in the with the forks, that was
Yeah,
crazy.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely wondering, is that like, um, is it something like, maybe in like Smile, the movie Smile, where like she's
Yeah.
experiencing this, but like,
Right.
is it really happening, that type of thing?
Yeah.
Or what? But yeah,
And
definitely looks
something's
interesting.
luring these kids out for something, and
Mhm.
it should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely
Hmm.
should be. All right. Well, everybody check it out. Friday, August 8th. Weapons.
Let's get it. Weapons. Let's see if Rotten Tomatoes know what they talking about with this 100%.
Right.
Wow.
That's crazy. That means
Right?
I better be glued to that
Okay.
projector every
I better
second.
be on the edge of my seat every minute.
Right. I better not turn around. You know, go to the bathroom. I better not be talking to nut. Like I need to be
Because that's crazy. That's crazy.
right. I
I'm
don't think.
excited though. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, me too. All right, well, that wraps up our special scare. So definitely, like we said, go check out Weapons, which will be released on the 8th. And obviously, we're going to dive into it on our next scare. So don't miss that either. Any last
Yeah.
words, Danny?
That's it from me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you want to chime in, leave us some comments. Please leave them in the message box below. Let us know what your favorite slashers are. It's a great genre, and we'll have some more episodes like this in the future where we hone in on certain genres within subgenres within the horror genre itself.
Definitely, definitely. Where can they find you, Danny?
You can find me everywhere at I am Danny Royce.
You guys can find me at Alpha Boy I1. Again, thank you so much for joining us on our special episode, and we hope to see you guys next week.
Yes. Yes.
Later.
We'll see y'all next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Later.